In the context of the TES-D project related to the European sports diplomacy, we are now having a small video with my colleague Tanguy de Wilde Destmal from the University of Louvain. But before to give the floor to Tanguy, I would like to framework a little bit the context of sports diplomacy being seen as a tool of soft power aiming at implementing public diplomacy. We have to underline that sports diplomacy already started in the 1890s when Pierre de Coubertin inaugurated the revitalization of the Olympic Games in Athens. Sports diplomacy has been positive or negative. Everybody will understand that in 1936, the Olympic Games in Berlin were misused by the Nazi regime to promote its ideology. But in the 1970s, the ping-pong diplomacy between China and the USA was a positive sports diplomacy. In 2018, prior to the Pyeongchang Olympic Games, President Thomas Bach from the International Olympic Committee played a very important role in joining Korea, North Korea, and South Korea in one delegation for the opening ceremony and for the unique female ice hockey team. From a European perspective, well, we can notice that sports diplomacy is made of a conjunction of state and non-state actors. State actors are evident, it's the European Commission and the member states. Non-state actors are the International Olympic Committee, the International Sports Federations, and the variety of NGOs. In 2016, Commissioner Navracsics, who was in charge of sport, commissioned a series of high-level group reports related to sports diplomacy. The first one was, of course, the high-level group on sports diplomacy. But next to this one, there was a high-level group on grassroots sports diplomacy, and there was also a report on good practices that was committed by the commissioner. Since that time, several Erasmus Plus projects have been elaborating on sports diplomacy, and this brings us to this project, the TES-D project towards a European sports diplomacy that is aiming at setting recommendations to develop a real sports diplomacy strategy for Europe and for its member states. So to conclude, sports diplomacy can help developing the national branding and the attractiveness and global representation of a country. It can also help to reinforce or normalizing diplomatic relations. And finally, it will sustain peace and development.